well, we've got some breaking news. Tom Emmer, who just got a majority of the Republican conference in his effort for Speaker, has just dropped out, we are told, by our next guest, our friend, Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie, that's a piece of high drama. I didn't know. I'm sitting up here in this little fishbowl, and we heard you telling our producers, thank you for it. Can you just quickly describe the story?
Yes, the news just broke that Tom Emmer is out of the race for Speaker of the House, and I think it's good news. I couldn't support Tom Emmer. He's a nice guy. He's someone I do like as a person, but I couldn't support him because of his voting record, Larry. We need a Speaker of the House that reflects the values and the views of Republican voters across the country, and they support President Trump, and they support his agenda, and Tom Emmer does not. His voting record, he voted against President Trump's transgender ban in the military. He voted for the Democrats' gay marriage bill that allows churches to be sued if they don't support gay marriages. He also, once had supported the voting rights of the national voting movement that was completely against what we stand for. So that we can't have that for a Speaker of the House. But I'm glad Tom has dropped out of the race, and we've got to work hard to find someone that does support President Trump and does support Republican voters across the country.
Yeah, Mr. Trump tweeted today very critical of Emmer, and so I thought that was quite interesting. Perhaps that led to Emmer's dropping out. I don't know. Marjorie, at this point, how do you handicap the whole issue? Listen, you and I have talked about this. We need a speaker. We need a Republican speaker. We need to get the investigations of all the Biden scandals going again. We need to fund Israel. We need to fund the border. We need to figure out appropriation bills. You and I have talked a lot about this. Handicap the race for me. Who is possible is going to pop up or pop down, or when? When can we have a speaker, Marjorie?
Well, Larry, I totally agree with you. We have to accomplish all those things. I'd like to remind everyone with a history lesson. Back in 1855, the Congress went 2 months with 133 ballots trying to elect a Speaker of the House. Maybe that's what we go through again, because I think, and I would argue, the GOP is going through a big change, and it needs to be an America First change. That's what Republican voters want, and that's what the American people want, and that's what our country needs. I think we're going to see some more names come back in. Mike Johnson was very close in this last race earlier today. We saw Byron Donalds running, but he also admitted to the conference that he had negotiated with Kevin McCarthy for himself to have an office in the Capitol. That was something that turned off our conference big time. We saw Kevin Hern, big conservative chairman of the Republican Study Committee, was also getting votes. So we're going to have to get back in the room and see who's willing to run and be a candidate for Speaker. But I also hope that there are 8 Republicans who joined the Democrats and ousted Kevin McCarthy. They need to apologize, and we need to heal our conference in order to move forward.
You know, Marjorie, I'm so old. Now that you remind me, I remember the 1855 thing. I was around. I was a bit young at the time, but I was a researcher for Abe Lincoln in those days. But in all seriousness, what you say is important. I'm not going to pick winners and losers. That's not my job. We rely on you and just a handful of others to help us on this, but. I don't know that we can go 2 months. I think 2 weeks might be even that. We just need to. Israel needs our help. I think you would agree with that. And we got to move ahead on the budget. The Treasury's borrowing too much money. Interest rates are going up. Mortgage rates are now above 8%. Housing market's getting killed. Ordinary middle-class working folks can't afford to buy a home. You understand this as well as anybody.
That's right.
So,
Larry, let me know you something on the Israel front. I want you to know who's holding up money to Israel, and that's the Democrats. They've got 2 bills sitting over there in the Senate that have $3.8 billion in them, that if the Senate would pass those bills, the defense and state and foreign op bills, and Joe Biden signs them, Israel gets $3.8 billion. That's without the House of Representatives, because we already passed those bills. So that's important. I think people need to know that.
All right, terrific. Marjorie, we appreciate your help. You are wonderful. I mean that sincerely. You're so good.
Thank you, Larry.
Marjorie Taylor Greene,
too.
everybody. Terrific stuff.